Welcome to Fashion Neurosis, Courtney Love.
It's a pleasure to be here, Bella Freud.
Can you tell me what clothes you're wearing and why you chose these particular ones today?
Yeah, I got a pile out, and I got things that are very me in a recognizable way because I've been wearing them for so long. I was in my documentary yesterday, and they showed me all these old diaries that a friend had saved, and like I was drawing. I'm very consistent. I was drawing clothes, and I was forward that the same clothes that I was wearing. That it was very weird to see this evolution of my secret career as not even a fashion designer. I would have been a costume designer, but like for myself, I had drawn all these clothes since I was like 4, and they're all the same shape and shit. So I got out a bunch of sort of Edwardian tunic dresses and slips and like more schooling things and a lace like high collar and Peter Pan collars, and I was like, maybe not, like just sort of wear what I would wear, that's not my uniform, but still is connected to my uniform. So what I used to call schooly.
Yes, I love
which became
schooly.
like grunge. Part of it did. Not the slip part, but the Peter Pan, we call it. Because it reminded me of boarding school in New Zealand. And then also yesterday for my documentary, they showed me all these pictures of my fake bands with girls over the years that had names, but we couldn't play anything. But I definitely styled everybody. It was definitely nothing. I was like, it's 83 and I'm wearing this white slip. Jesus, I must have been born in that thing.
I made a dress, and I've got a picture of you in a dress that I made. It was with a Peter Pan collar, pale blue with the band. And in fact, I made it for when Stephen Meisel did his Vogue shoot in 93.
Was it Italian Vogue?
No, British Vogue. He did one shoot and Izzy Blow was styling it.
With me?
No, well, I made it for that.
Oh, was it baby blue?
And then it was baby blue.
Oh, God, I love that dress.
It was I love that picture.
I wore that dress a lot, didn't I?
I have a picture of you styled
I think someone stole it. People stole so much from me.
You just looked, I was so excited to have that
Oh,
picture.
my God.
It looked
amazing.
amazing.
It was so nice to see Peter Pan colors on things. Like I remember Mrs. Prada had a coat with a velvet, and I remember that baby blue dress of yours. I was like, oh, there's Peter Pan colors on things. Like I'm not like looking in the polyester. I'm actually looking at like nice fabrics with Peter Pan colors. I really loved a Peter Pan color and a locket. That was like my old vibe.
And you're almost a mythological figure in modern times. You founded your band Hole in 1989.
Yeah.
Then you married Kurt Cobain of Nirvana, becoming someone that millions of people projected their
Becoming
fantasy.
his +1.
I wondered what your first memory is of being at the center of attention.
Oh, I remember me being at the center of attention when it switched over to like being his +1. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving this party. I don't like that so much. That wasn't my goal. And people do forget that Nevermind, the Nirvana album, it did come out in 91, but it really did not do damage. It didn't go until about February 92, at least in the States, when it, famously knocked off Michael Jackson from the charts. So for about, of that relationship, that relationship courting, and then in that relationship, I would say like 9-10 months were like very equal footing. Only, he had the phallus, he was the dude. So, he always had the advantage.
In your childhood, were you the center of attention?
Oh, no.
So that was a weird experience to be everyone.
No, it wasn't. I left my family of origin because I was like the designated scapegoat. If you're the designated scapegoat, you've got 2 options, and neither of them are very good, but one will kill you. And the one that will kill you is trying to comply.
Yeah.
Because you'll never win. And the one piece of fashion culture my mother contributed to, oh my God, I mean, people have tried to style it and some people love it, but Birkenstocks. Yeah. I think she might have been one of the first people to order Birkenstocks in America and sell them. And I remember when Gwyneth started rejiggering them as an East Hampton vibe on Goop. I'm like, I'll try. And I bought them off Goop, and they came in the Goop box, and I wore them one day. I'm like, ah! It was worse than the Doc Martens. Like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, no.
But I had exactly that. My teachers at school wore them, and so they were symbolic of something just
bad.
like
Something
dying
very
of
bad.
drabness, and I just can't.
I think with my mother, to give her some hero's journey, though, she had the money. She inherited a lot, and she absolutely refused to cater to the male gaze. Like, that was her thing. And she ended up married 5 times to really hot men. So, except for my father, who wasn't hot, but like 4 really attractive men. So, you know, I'll give her that. Like, that's good. But she just happened to give birth to an incredibly glamour obsessed eldest child, who I just really wanted to go to Interlochen Bella, which is a drama art school in Michigan. It's a boarding school. She had the money. I don't know why she didn't let. She wanted a lunatic daughter, but I just bided my time. I made a lot of trouble. A lot of my back when they found me at 18, and they were like, "Okay, you can get your records expunged now." I'm like, "No, I need them. I'm going to be famous, and I need them."
How did you end up in juvie?
I made them arrest me. I literally had to go back into this Woolworth and shoplift a shirt 3 times. Like, they were just not arresting me.
And that was so you could get out of
but
home.
I got a mugshot. They sent a mugshot. Mugshots are so amazing. Like,
Have you still got it?
Yeah, I'd never seen it. It's like my 12-year-old mugshot. And that shit's gold. And so I sent it to a friend of both of ours, and he goes, "It's 1977. I'm 12. I'm sure that I am wearing a tube top. Some Oregonian Nike wearing person has, like, counselor kindly has put their, like, what you guys call shell suit on me."
Yeah.
And this fashion conscious media person that we know, who's hilarious, goes, "Wait, shell suit?" I was like, fuck off. Like, I'm sure I was wearing, like, over my nom movies, like a yellow tube top or something. Like,
I love the way you remember this.
no, I'm just the British
want.
fashion person going, shell suit? I was like, oh my God, it's 77. No. Like, it was a kindly counselor, I'm sure. But yeah, that was that. There was a great bunch of runaway songs about juvie, glorifying juvie. So I was barely 12 and lied. I said I was 13. And then that put a spanner into my age for life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's records where I'm different ages, but I'm 60. I'm pretty positive of that.
And do you remember the first time in your life you found a piece of clothing that made you feel different? Like, how old were you? Like under 10 type of thing?
No, I remember I had very wealthy grandparents, and my grandmother would buy me, and this affected how I dressed later, but my grandmother would buy me incredible clothes for we'd go down to San Francisco for, like, the Nutcracker holidays, and they were very wealthy, and my mother would, like, throw out the bag from I Magnin as we were leaving the city for Oregon. And my grandmother Luella would also go to Paris every 2 years. I went to the Dior Museum. I don't remember her having any Dior, but I remember she had a thing about Hubert Givenchy. In her dressing room, she had an 8x10 with him. I didn't really understand it at the time, but she bitched, like, high key about Audrey Hepburn all the time. That her darling Hubert, like, they were better friends, but Audrey was the movie star. And, like, whatever, there was this, like, I think she was more in love with Hubert Givenchy than she was with my Grandpa Jack. But then when she died, my mother, in her rage at these adoptive, rich Italian San Franciscans, like, I remember they had these 2 beds. It sounds Trumpian, but it wasn't. It was very tasteful. But there were 2 little beds, Grandpa Jack, Grandpa, and they were gold and white gilt, and you could see it was like 999 green, the penthouse. So you're looking at Coit Tower and the Golden Gate. Everything incredible. I mean, God, it's probably worth San Francisco real estate being what it is. I don't know. They were very wealthy, but she had all her couture. Grandma Luella would, like, show me the seams, and also when I went to the Dior Museum, and I don't remember Dior. I remember Balmain and I remember Givenchy. And I don't remember Grandpa Jack ever bitching about it. You know, that kind of trope of like she's going to Paris. She also did not do late stage Chanel. She had been a flapper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you could also, I think Grandma Luella was a snob about it because you could get couture Chanel made in New York at Jan Duskin's and in San Francisco at I. Magnin. Like you could get, you still see like vintage Chanel when I do the Carrie Taylor auctions. Like, so that was my first sort of like thing. And then when she died, my mother gave it all to the Children's Hospital. I'm like, I've been chasing that couture ever since. Like it just all went away. And then also my Nutcracker clothes, which is basically, if you think about, is my whole outfit. New Zealand boarding school uniform and Nutcracker clothes and a slip. Like that's kind of it. My mother would just toss every year, the I. Magnin onto the I-5.
Gosh.
I know, back to the book.
What a
and stuff.
gesture.
It was like a clothing abuse, for sure. But also, Faye Dunaway taught me a lot about fittings. Like, she did them old school. She was like Edith Head level, nipple to clavicle, where's the wrist? You're just standing there being quiet and observing, Bernadine and Faye was like,
God, what an education. That's incredible.
Yeah. So I so when Hole started, women's Mary Janes were not a thing, but I knew the guy, Andre Number One on Sunset, who by the way is still there, to say, make me 2 pairs of Mary Janes. And he did it for almost nothing because he knew me. So it wasn't just random, although people are like, can Courtney give us our museum, her 90s baby doll dresses? I'm like, they're all stolen. There were 6. I don't know. There was a few in rotation and people would steal them. So they're gone.
So how do you feel about being naked? Do you keep anything on when you're getting naked?
No. I took to it really well. Because I think all those hippies, that were naked. I remember being made to feel really ashamed. My mother built an Olympic swimming pool with that inheritance outside of Eugene. And the swimming teacher came and he was wearing a Speedo and I was wearing a bathing suit and my little siblings who were much more wee and all the grown-ups were naked. And my mother yelled at me about, I was 7 and I did not want to not wear a swim. You're 7. I remember that swimming teacher in his Speedo was a real ally. He was like, he sort of fought for me a little in my corner. But then when it came to a vocation that paid quickly and you paid more than, a restaurant, which I did try, I got fired. I just was like, okay, just be really, you don't have fake tits. You really can't afford to wax, but you just nail that pole. And so as I was learning guitar, I also had calluses here from the pole because I wasn't the prettiest, but I was the nastiest. And the naked wasn't a problem. I just kind of tapped into, those two. And I also was like, I never ever want to look like that naked. Like, I don't care what it takes. Like, maybe it created a whole world of disordered eating in that moment. But I was like, okay, the auxiliary hair, the flabbiness, it's human nudity. And I can look at it now and be, as a 60-year-old, more frail about it and more forgiving. But as a young 7-year-old glam athlete, I'm like, no. Yeah. Never. That will never be. I will never look like that naked.
There was a lot of weird shaminess around this idea of being free, walking naked. I had similar.
Did you have that too?
Yeah. Just this awful, that you were supposed to feel at ease naked. And in fact, you felt incredibly exposed and uncomfortable and awkward.
Yeah, and just around adults, right?
Adults who were supposed to be
protecting you and your phalluses are out or their breasts are out.
Oh, just repulsed me.
Very weird. But if when I learned to commodify it, I mean, at 15, $6,000 a week in Japan was like heaven, and I didn't have to do much. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just got it. I wasn't doing any drugs. I just got into the music and the lights. And there were a couple good current songs. There was Betty Davis Eyes that I danced to nonstop. And it's a Foreigner song, but it's called Jukebox Hero. And it's all about a kid named Johnny. and he gets a guitar, and he becomes a rock star. And it's like, I just changed the gender. He had one guitar, and he was a jukebox hero. So if you like the music that you're on the pole to, like, I was talking with my friend in Green Day, Billy Joe. We were talking about the Def Leppard records, like, which, by the way, is a really great way to clear out a British photo shoot. It's like, put on Aerosmith or Def Leppard, and people be like, yeah, okay, she's done. More Aerosmith, but
I love
Def Leppard
Aerosmith.
too. But those guitar tones in those two Mountain Lion records are amazing. But also, the greatest stripper song I've ever come across is Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's just like,
I don't know that. How does that go?
Bella, you could get up tonight at an amateur night. I don't know where they have them in England, someplace called Jiggles. Do you know what I mean? Like, get up tonight, just pour some sugar on me, hit that pole like your life depends on it, and it would rain pounds on you. Just rain.
I did a few pole lessons when
they started teaching it. That's right. It's the whole thing, learning the pole.
It's really hard work. God, it wrecks your body actually.
It's really. I mean, it's yeah.
But
Nothing
bet
in the costuming of stripping has changed since I was a stripper, except for the clear heels. That's the only new addition. Like the colors, the aesthetics are the same. The music's changed too. Like you could not do girls in like 89, 80, 88, 89, 90, Los Angeles who were trying to do Betty Page. They make 50 cents. Like, wasn't going to happen. Tattoos, black hair. Men did not want to see that at any strip club because I worked at all of them. And the alternative girls were not having a good time. Like, plop a blonde wig on, honey. And white pumps, but the white pumps are now clear heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you invented this term Kinderwhore. And do you think having such confidence in your intellect and your intelligence made you...
You mean by making up the word?
Yeah, but do you think that made you more provocative, like shocking people with your brain as well as your attractiveness?
I don't think I'm a good intellectual. I do think I'm a thinker. And I definitely am attracted to low data files, like words, like things that like Nabokov was so good at, like inventing word, plumbaceous ombre under her eyes. Like, that's what Nabokov is, like complete Jabberwocky. But like, I like, and I was very fortunate in two things. One was the Ashland, Oregon Shakespeare Festival is really the best one in America. Like like I saw Piper Laurie. First time I saw Hamlet was this great stage actress who was in Carrie as the crazy mom, but like she also was a really well-respected stage actress from, I believe, Adler. I think she was Adler or Strasberg. She came up with those people, and she was my first Hamlet was seeing her do it at the Shakespeare camp. And then by going to boarding school in New Zealand and getting third form, fourth form, fifth form Commonwealth education, I came back to Oregon expelled with this skill set, Bella, of penmanship, Latin, a little bit of French verbs, and Shakespeare. So I really like classics, but I don't think I'm an intellect. I think people assume I'm well read, and I'm just not.
Memory. You remember. I mean, you've quoted so many things.
Yeah, but since you arrived, I do burrow because I do read a lot of poetry. Poetry I love, and I do read Shakespeare for pleasure. Like I do. But War and Peace, I can't read it. Dostoevsky, really? I can't read it. And by the way, I did read a lot of great things when I was younger. I had less ADD, but like I can't read those things anymore. And you have to read them. You can't audible them.
No, it's true.
You have to experience Plato's Republic or Dante's Inferno, which I did thankfully read early, but then I didn't. You know what I mean? I didn't. But I always liked the classics. If I didn't do what I did, I'd probably be a costume designer, which I'd never wanted a plan B. And when I got offered that job, I literally threw it at a friend because if you have a plan B, you're going to do the plan B.
Yeah, it's so true.
That's always a truth.
That's such a good tip.
It's really the truth, though. If you have a plan B, you're going to do it.
You would have been a brilliant librarian. I mean, the most exciting.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Or to know Greek, to know Greek.
Well, talking of which, you said you named your band Hole after the Euripides play Medea, where she says,
it's kind of a troll. It's kind
there's
of
a hole that pierces my soul. And I played Medea in my school play. And when you said that, and I always remember being fascinated and sort of obsessed by her hurt and jealousy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wondered how you deal with jealousy.
I don't really get it. I don't know if I'm being in denial here, but I have a friend, and I made friends with him when he was on the up in the art world, and he's done astonishingly well, and I could not be happier for him. I have another friend who I met on her come up, and now she's like bigger than I'll ever be, and I'm really happy for her.
But how about sexual jealousy?
Oh, I'm a bit of a libertine. Like the person that I most, I think, do my romantic crap with is also a libertine. So we really are more friends, really, with benefits sometimes, kind of vibes. But I don't like talking. I don't mention who, I don't mention what, because there is jealousy around that person. And so, I will tell you, the last time, though, I did have very intense jealousy. Somebody deemed somebody else more fit to date publicly than myself, which, by the way, they're completely right. I have no idea, in this person's case, how to date them publicly. Our values in terms of public presentation cannot be more different. But no. But I did have to tolerate the public dating of somebody that I found full of guile and not witty and like just, but also then this person, very Henry Higgins, that person, and I had to watch that situation, which is one of their MOs, doing their Henry Higgins thing, and seeing her stature grow. It was things that I don't want, I don't care about, I don't care. But you know what I did, Bella? So we're way back. 2012 was the last time I was really writhing with jealousy. And I wrote maybe the meanest letter of my entire life. It was so mean. Like, yeah. I was like, you're both from Jersey. By the way, not true. But yeah, whatever. It was just beyond mean, and didn't speak to them for 6 months. And I went and made an art show about it.
Wow.
Which was really a lucky break. It was when I lived under David Bowie in the Lafayette apartment that he passed in. And I played music all day, all night. This is the best David Bowie story ever. I don't think you're going to get a better David Bowie story. It doesn't involve a personal interaction whatsoever. I've met him, whatever. This David Bowie story is so damn good. So I'm doing this art show. I'm playing crazy music all day, all night in this building on Lafayette and Houston. My neighbor, Teddy Wong, was so great to give me that apartment. But the Bowies are upstairs. I never see him. He goes out Mulberry. I go out Lafayette. And it's Sunday. And my friend Jane and her kid are over. And we're making crepes and playing some like brunch music. It's a Sunday. And Bernard, the doorman, calls. And he's like, yeah, Mr. Bowie really doesn't like the noise, doesn't like the music. And I'm like, oh, it's too loud. And Bernard's like, no, he would prefer that you change the music.
No.
And I was listening to Fleetwood Mac's Rumors.
That's the best story. That is just...
I was like, is this really happening? This is so Bowie on brand. Like, fine if I want to change it to Throbbing Gristle and turn it to 12, but like, no Fleetwood Mac. I bet you he didn't like my Def Leppard and my Cheap Trick neither. It was amazing. That's like the best Bowie moment ever. I know our friend Kate Moss has like when she was really down, Bowie calling her and like, you're cool. I did not have that experience. But I did have him telling me to change my Fleetwood Mac.
That's just amazing.
I know, I love it. It's such a good story.
Wow. And I saw some amazing pictures of Kurt and Mark Lanigan dressed up in your clothes.
And their friend Dylan,
and I wondered, did you style that
I
shoot?
just put them in like
they
clothes.
Look so charming.
It's charming, and it's really that in between pre-intersectional feminist era when people our age were just like feminists and like we didn't have to learn all the other extra stuff. And I guess in like whenever I tour with Lana Del Rey, which is, I mean, opening for someone half your age is crazy, but we were in Portland and hadn't seen my half sister for a very long time. And I met my 4-year-old trans niece. I'm like, okay, it's my family. I didn't even think twice. How did we get there? Oh yeah, because second wave feminism and then reading and going into third wave feminism and that what we were talking about, like almost like
styling your boyfriend and
styling your boyfriends and like yeah, exactly, and making them wear lipstick and like dresses and like, you know, I remember once in Rio, it was a really big Nirvana show. So the few times I like went just with Nirvana, there was no hole. I was just like going and being a wife. It was, you know, weird thing. I adored that guy. But anyway, we found some letters of his yesterday. He was so problematic. I was very happy. I was like, oh my God, these are so problematic. We would send like really rude faxes to each other, and some of them survived, mostly to shock the hotel people. But like, these were like great problematic. He was just being hilarious.
What, between you and Kurt?
Yeah, it was like faxes, like he would always drop big cocks on like the front page, and you know, I see all these memes like, why are my expectations in men so high? It'll be a picture of Kurt at 27 because of this motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, you really didn't know him well. Me and JD, who manages like his estate, we were just trying to think of someone as good looking as him. Debbie Harry comes to mind. Joan Crawford, like,
Debbie Harry,
like literally forget rock because there's hardly anybody. Like technically, I'm talking about like not a bad angle, and I also did not know they were that beautiful. Kate, you know, like I mean. Who, Susie? Like, who's that beauty? It's very rare. And when they don't know because they grew up in poverty, where they're like, when Oscar Wilde's like, beauty is its own aristocracy. It's so true. But unless you're in a lumber town where only if you're built like a longshoreman is anybody even, no one's looking for beauty because they've been on welfare for 4 generations. So like, he didn't know what he looked like. And I'm like, he's like, I think I'm kind of cute. And then I remember we were at the place right across from what became Rick Owens. It was when I was Rick Owens' first client after Kurt died. But Rick was living in that storefront on Cahuenga and Hollywood. That was where we got our magazines, NME and Melody Maker and all the things, Select, whatever, that shit. But it was the cover of Rolling Stone and it was Nirvana and they were all in suits. Do you remember that cover at all?
No, I didn't.
They were very tidy. I think Kurt was trying to go for a Beatles thing and he was into it. But it was undeniable how just outrageously beautiful he was, which I had been telling him. And he didn't want to hear it. Anyway, he flew into a rage and he started picking at his face. He dyed his hair red. He started wearing like weird glasses. Like he realized it was true. I mean, because I kept saying to him, if I looked like you, I would rule the world.
Yeah.
Kate Moss is like that too. Like, actually, it was her doing this, and then I saw Cave doing this, and then I saw Daphne doing this. I was like, fucking an hour? That's all we have to talk about fashion neuroses? Like, but I will say, when I saw Cave doing it, I was like, oh my God, Nick Cave has impacted my aesthetics. Even though they aren't the same as his, by any means. Like, how men wear jewelry, the pointiness of a boot on a man, like his Hollywood era that he never talks about because he had a whole Hollywood era, Nick did, where he like hung out with Jeffrey Lee Pierce, Lydia Lunch, Exit and John from X. Like I remember me and Flea and young Jennifer Finch from L7 were outside a goth club and Nick and Jeffrey Lee and Exit and Lydia walked by and either Lydia or Exit dropped a cigarette. And there was no matte red back then. There was just Revlon cherries in the snow. And you could melt your Maybelline Kohl, add that, and then put powder, and then you'd have dark red lips, right?
Oh, my God.
Right? Like, come on, you know this trick, the powder.
I don't know any trick.
It was before there was matte. Shiseido was the first matte.
Yeah.
But I remember we went, me, Flea, and Jennifer, and Flea ended up, well, probably Lydia's, but it might have been Exene's, cigarette butt. And Fleet kept it like as a totem. we were just so impressed with him. But he was in a movie back then too, with a very scary other movie, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I remember that
It's called
film.
Ghost of the Civil Dead, and it was filmed in the first Supermax prison. And Henry Port scared everybody. People were puking. It was the most terrifying movie. But Ghost of the Civil Dead was even more scary. And Nick played a madman in. He was really good, man. He should have maybe. I don't know. People say this to me. You should have stuck with film acting. Actually, I don't like it. The hurry up and wait makes me crazy. But in any event, he was so good as a madman in a Supermax.
I've never seen that.
Oh my God, it's terrifying. But like the Ass Saw the Angel, I remember reading that. I remember my penmanship, being that it was a British Commonwealth. Like I was very, like Nick Cave had his penmanship. I had my penmanship. And I was very, like he impacted, you've got to have a kit of aesthetics. And also the first time I was here in 81 in London, I mean, I know we have a First Amendment in my country, but all over this town. And I was with a guy named Julian Cope, who very, very platonic, mentored me, wonderfully. There was nothing untoward whatsoever that whole Liverpool period. But we'd come up to the Columbia because his band would do Top of the Pops or Old Grey Whistle Test or whatever. And all of London had drunk on the Pope's blood. And Nick in his black, you never see this even in New York, ever. Right? Drunk on the Pope's blood and a guy with a mohawk like that high. Think about it.
Can I ask you, if you fancy someone and don't like something they're wearing, does it kill your attraction?
Yeah. I'm going back. But I remember someone wearing a Grateful Dead t-shirt. I was like, yeah, we're not going to work out.
Really? Yeah. So specific.
Yeah. I mean, babe, Grateful Dead. It's just like that you're flexing that and like just like just what I grew up in. And I still don't know because he's dead and my father's dead and John Mayer, who joined like Dead & Co., which is like post Jerry Garcia dead. I was like, would you ask Phil Lesh if he really is my godfather? Because I heard he was. But I remember being on the road with them and I was so embarrassed that my father stole $200 from them that there was a Red Lion in Albany and I hid. I was like slinking by and someone knocked and they were like, no, the Dead they want to meet you. They love you. Oh. Right? And I was just like so ashamed of my father's behavior. And I got as far as the road crew and then I ran. I was like just so ashamed of Hank. And by the way, I've done some horrible shit, but like I'm way less ashamed than Hank stealing $200 from the Warlocks, Dead, however far he went with them. He definitely he went to the same college and was a roommate with the bass player. Billy Corgan wearing a Dead shirt. Anyone? I just saw actually my friend in Green Day in the first Green Day van. I had to do a thing for something we're doing together, and the first Green Day van, it says Grateful Dead on the back, and he's from Berkeley, and I had to ask the question like, "Come to Mama, I need you to just tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth." Whatever. It's Green Day's first band. So what is it? 80.
And what's the question?
Were you into the Dead, dude?
You can hardly say it.
And we're such good fans. I mean, going to 94. It's like, it's hard. The Dead, being into the Grateful Dead. I'm sorry, all of you two watching this. It's like, oh God, she didn't even write her own fucking songs. Oh, how dare she have a fucking musical opinion? I mean, I've had a few. Like Taylor Swift doesn't land for me. But the Dead. Yeah, the Dead. I was actually, Jameson, our friend Dr. Webster, used to be married to this guy, Dr. Simon Critchley, and he's teaching at the new school. He's the head of the new school, philosophy. He's from Liverpool. I love him. And he's teaching a curriculum in Swift, Taylor Swift, and he talks about how the Swifties are the best Greek students. They're the best classic students.
Really?
Yeah, she does have a way with words. Like if you look at her lyrics, particularly when she's angry, I think she gets the most. I just find her boring in terms of her chord progressions, but her marketing is genius. And I think people get more, the people that don't like her, the misogyny is just screaming on it. Like actually less boys that used to pick on me from the old school can pick on me now because of Taylor Swift. Like sticking up for herself, which is like amazing. But I think where she gets criticism that is unfair, utterly unfair, but she just can modify it. But I would have if I thought of it. Because I remember just being horrified when I was in Trent's studio and he showed me, because we had a very ugly uncoupling, it was like a tour affair. Like I did not expect more. And like I remain a fan, by the way, but like he just had to make it about me, like being a quote bunny boiler. It's like, oh my God, wow, really, really, dude? Like, no. But I got so mad about it. Melissa, my bass player, found a photo of us, me and Trent and his dog who died. That he loved that dog, by the way, Maisie. But I put it on all sorts of industry like cups and swags and hat. Merry Christmas from the Roasters. It was such a good troll. But anyway, in his studio, and this goes to what he had 3 on his keyboard. He loves being in the studio. I hate being in the studio, but he had 3 buttons. One was a moan. One was his voice breaking. And he knew that was effective. And one was like where his voice was like cracking, right? And they would go, and at first I was like, oh, that's horrifying. And then I was like the evil genius of it. Like if you listen to Hurt, and you hear Reznor, you can have it all. My empire of shit. Or that's what he says live. Dirt. That's what he says like on the record. But it's like, when Johnny Cash covers it, it's like, it's canon, right? It works still, though. It works. Anyway.
In Milos Forman's film, The People versus Larry Flint, you were nominated for Best Actress, and your performance was just incredible as Althea married to Larry Flint. And you wore this white silk Gianni Versace dress. And for all your wild punk demeanor, you have this incredible chic. And where does that come from? What are you referencing?
No. I appreciate the compliment, but you got it wrong. So a lot of people take credit for that dress. And when Kevin O'Quinn left, because he had to leave at 11 or 12 to go do Kidman and Tom Cruise and like all Tom and Nicole's siblings and stuff. So he had double booked it, but I didn't even have to touch my face. And I was wearing a different Versace dress. And the reason, and Ari, and it was helpful, but whatever, I was alone. And you leave for the Oscars around 2:30 or 3. And I changed out of a tiered thing. I did wear later. I think I wore it to like Batman and Robin or something, that other Versace dress. But like, Bella, because I think that fame is kind of a postmodern experiment, I'm like, I have been wearing white slips, like, because they're utilitarian since like the late 70s, right? Like when I first heard Patti Smith, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna fight for the tightest jeans. I'm just gonna wear like the old lady lingerie. Literally, like it'll work, right? With like Breakfast Club came out, like and a trench coat. Like I'm cool. Like I'm gonna be new wave. Not punk. I was never punk. I was never punk. And I like a melody. But anyway,
true.
Wait. I was in the middle of a thought. Oh, it wasn't to do with chic. It was to do with context. Okay, I'm going to wear I changed out of the other dress that stylist. It was all secured. Versace knew. Thank God it was still Versace because it made a PR girl's career or whatever. But I was alone in my room and I'm like, wear the white slip and see what happens that's different. It's kind of like with this thing with whom my real grandmother, my maternal line, or when I said I had a trust fund when I was 15, it's like the shift. I'm doing the exact same thing, but I've added an element. So I'm now adding a Oscar red carpet. Yeah. And it's, and the pictures are prettier. And I clean up nice. Then when the year before that was more, that you would remember, which is me and Amanda Cadney, where my makeup was more Baby Jane at a Vanity Fair thing. And then if you go all the way back to like Faith No More in 84, where I kind of look more like I do at the Oscars, like it's a white slip.
Yeah.
Okay. There's crooked teeth and things needing a little fixing, whatever. But literally, I am the same person the whole time. It's just the background that's changing. So it was more a troll. And it looked really freaking good.
I mean, it was
an expensive updo of that dress, but it was the same damn dress. So you're giving me there are times I've nearly nailed it, and there are times I really haven't on a carpet. And I'm really glad that isn't my life because I would go crazy. From the actual job of movie acting, which is like hurry up and wait, to the really performative, like likable. You have to be likable.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan doesn't need you to like him. I hope you like me if you're watching this, like, or I hope you don't hate me actively. I'm too old for you to hate me. Like, really, I'm actually really chill. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I'm tough, but I'm not.
Courtney,
mean. But what I'm saying is, I wasn't currying favor. I was currying like.
No,
I wanted to see what would happen.
But you,
in a classic sense, like I've been wearing this white slip my whole career.
But you looked, the thing is, it's you that has the chic. It's not the outfit.
No. There was a giant Oscar behind me. Like, it changed the context. Like, she's not being the bimbo. Because every year they would have a bimbo at the Vanity Fair party, whether it was Lewinsky or whatever. And we didn't think we knew about it. I knew about it, right? Like, I knew I was the bimbo that year, the joke person that year. So I was like, let's play. I knew Brits had, like, TV presenters, not a thing that we had then. And I grabbed a Cadene who was very beautiful, and I was like, come with me. Let's just go fuck with this bimbo thing. Right. But,
there's another picture.
We did our own makeup. Like, that wasn't professional. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, it looked better. The Golden Globes, that was me cleaning up well.
Yeah, you looked
and that was Sharon Stone really helping me.
That was quite Sharon Stone.
Well, no, it was Sharon Stone's dress.
You've got the elegance. You've both got this incredibly elegant
she called
body.
me, and this was, as you know, my face stories. Sharon did not know that I come from wardrobe. She's like, she called. I did not get nominated for an Oscar. I got an Oscar for a Golden Globe, and they really wanted me to go for Best Supporting to apologize for myself. And Sharon had gone through that because of her vagina being shown in a movie, and Martin Scorsese wouldn't let her on Casino, and she didn't want to, and Milos wouldn't let me. He was like, it's not a supporting role, and you're not apologizing for yourself. So she called me, she's like, Ms. Dunaway invited me to this community when I entered, and I came up the hard way like her, and I know you did too, and I'm here to welcome you to this community. And everything she ever told me was right, and I just was scared of her. I wouldn't let her mentor me. And now we DM a lot.
Really?
Oh, so she was lovely. Like, oh my God, you're listening to the Wasp boyfriend. Oh my God, this is going to end so badly. Like, no. And she was so right. And then she was like, get to Europe by 45. Like, everything was right. She's like, you're too hip. And she's like, everyone, they want you to roll up to the carpet in a Harley. I'm like, no. She's like, here, you're wearing this Valentino. Like, she had all these rules that were, I was like, wait, that can't be true. And she's like, yeah, when you get one gown, you get three others.
And you really give life to that gown. it's unforgettable.
No, the Golden Globes is Sharon dressing me. But like
that's so lovely that she had your back. She was the one that took care of you.
Between her and Carrie Fisher, I really wish I'd have been a better mentee. And now I mentor a couple artists, and they drive me insane. I'm too invested. I'm like, God, what I must have done to Carrie Fisher and Sharon Stone. She's like, screaming during the whole, I was really buying into Fight Club and like, you boomer, you boomer, you boomer. And she was so patient. She's like, and this, I'll say this to you kids, because I'm ex-boomer, and I don't mind, okay, boomer, but Carrie Fisher said to me when I was furious with boomers. She was like, drink the finest water from the finest streams. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
What did she mean by that?
She meant take the best wisdom from whoever's giving it, including your elders, brat.
On your journey to becoming a Buddhist, you had a little bit of Scientology. And
No. I've been a Buddhist since 88.
I
took faith in 88. Oh, I took a personality test. I know Scientologists, but it's like, no. Tom Cruise sent me in for an ethics course once, and I had a fight with this guy Wellington while holding the cans because they call it, I love this Scientology word, interbulated. I didn't get that deep into it, but I did. Michael Stipe and Julie did notice a book called Ethics that I had underlined a lot of. So clearly I did my course. But here's what Tom said. He goes, I don't know him that well, but he was doing Vanilla Sky with my friend Cameron Crowe, and he goes, people don't listen to you in business, do they? And having had so much money embezzled, any artist can relate to this, but like extra. Like, I was like, God, no, they don't. You need to do an ethics course. I'm like, but I'm a Buddhist. He's like, yeah, no, Scientology doesn't care. So I went in, I got the ethics book, and then they really didn't like me because, first of all, L. Ron Hubbard said, if you did LSD, we don't want you.
Gosh.
So I very famously had been given this LSD, allegedly, right, by Hank. So they don't even want you. And then, so when I left, like they didn't give chase at all. The Kabbalah people gave chase. Like I traded Madonna. If she chanted with me, I would go to Kabbalah with her. They gave chase.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've had my religion sorted at 88. And I've literally had 2 years off since then. And the years because really, really bad things happened in both the years. So it's not a neat narrative. It's not Tina Turner's like, okay, I got rid of Ike, I came out triumphant, I got to come back and I married a hot guy and went to Zurich, right? It's a much messier narrative since 88, but I've really enriched my inner life. I'm alive.
No, you're amazing.
I have no
Courtney.
right to be alive. Like, none. You know what I mean? Like, I should just not be alive. I have a healthy daughter. I have a grandchild now. Like, yeah, she was in a great marriage and living a really good life. I have an incredible relationship with my music. I have incredible management, like really collaborative. I have a great team, great household. I wake up to wonderful people every day. I'm really lucky.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's just a lot to be great. I have a great therapist for 8 years, like Lacanian.
Wow.
Who knew? Like, who knew? I'd actually, because it was a former biographer who goes like, do you lie to your therapist? So I was like, ew, who would do that? But I'd been in therapy since like 1, so I didn't want to. And then my great feminist Freudian friend was like, you need a Lacanian. It's the word. And she gave me 3 essays, and this one had written about Jane's addiction. I'm like, I want the rock one. Give me the rock one. And I'm like, I know your guy, he's amazing, your analyst, but I like having a bit of a similar background. Like, I know the college where he got his PhDs, they got their PhDs from it. I do love trolling them about it.
That's so
It's a really reputable college, but it's also one of the major psychedelic centers. Anyways,
Wow.
yeah, no, I really 8 years I've been in that therapy, as well as friend of Bill's, whatever. Those steps are really, really important to staying humble,
Yeah, it's true.
making restitution when you're wrong, promptly admit it, and then finally, hopefully, oh God, I pray to God, Alan Carr method working, just praying to God.
The smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weirdly the hardest one, but like, I'm there. Hypnosis worked once for 3 years for almost straight, then wouldn't work again. But Alan Carr is so far holding. I'm still vulnerable, so talk to me in 2 weeks. But like, I'm feeling it. It's a whole cognitive reframe.
Yeah.
I did not think it would take, but it's taking.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
Courtney
thank you.
Love,
I have
for
a lot
being
more
on
fashion.
Fashion
But you know what?
Neurosis.
I feel like the Daphne Guinness one should have been a 4-hour special.
Well, it's very hard to stop talking. It's just so interesting.
Because you're getting all of
fascinating.
Isabel Blow's hats with Daphne. Like,
Well,
or Kate. Like, Kate should have been a 10-hour special. We'd all watch it.
we would.
I'll say one thing about Kate. I played this show. Our friend Evan Dando played it at the Roundhouse from the Lemonheads. And she was like, wear this YSL glitter shirt. And I always think that my taste is the greatest taste. And I put it on, and it did look better. And I was like, you'd make a great stylist.
She's
Kate
the
Moss.
best.
Yeah, she's a little overqualified, but she actually would. Like, everything she's ever suggested I wear
Yeah.
has looked good.
No, she is. She's the most discerning person on
I know.
every level. And it's
I
like,
know.
she says, wear this. And you think,
And like,
better
I'm like,
wear
oh, it's
it.
glittery. I'm gonna look like mutton is lamb, and it looked great.
No, she's.
I love her.
We love
So
her.
these are 3 people Daphne you've had on. I haven't looked at everyone you've had on back. I have a lot of friends you've had on. Nick, who's not a friend, but although I did once force him to duet Only Love Will Break Your Heart with me. He was like, okay,
Oh my
okay.
God,
and then
I'd
he was
love to see
in. Once
that.
I locked him, he was in. I was running from Lucinda Williams and he was running from me. So, she was really drunk. I was semi-drunk and he was not drunk at all. But that's it. But like, you know, it's by choice because we're both misanthropic. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like we have like mutual friends. It's like, it's real. Do you know those relationships where by choice, you're just going to like keep it like, you're cool.
But just looking like, across the room and
it's like
that.
You know, you've been in my life so long, like I don't want to know more.
I
know this is good.
It's
like I refuse to even meet Leonard Cohen, and I don't regret it. And I had so many chances. Like I couldn't do it. You know, when they really matter.
It's good just to have your own version of them. And
yeah.
Anyway, it's just great to have you.